this thing is way up in the air. Okay, I guess it's all right. We get enough for a quorum, right? I now call to order the Committee on House Administration for today's committee's markup. The quorum is present, so we may proceed. The meeting record will remain open for 5 legislative days so that members may submit any materials that they wish to be included therein. And today we will consider only one item on our agenda, a resolution of original jurisdiction that authorizes additional funds for the Committee on Energy and Commerce's budget for the remainder of the 114th Congress. Last year, on October the 7th, the House created a select investigative panel on infant lives within the Committee on Energy and Commerce. And while everybody wasn't in favor of this panel, it was passed by a majority vote of the House. This committee's responsibility is to ensure that each committee has sufficient resources to fulfill their assigned oversight duties. Last year, our committee transferred funds from the committee reserve account to the Energy and Commerce Committee so the panel could begin its work. An additional transfer was made earlier this year. These funds were allocated based on the full committee's needs to fulfill its mission. These initial transfers were insufficient to cover the costs associated with the select panel. The matter before us today will rectify this situation and allow the Committee on Energy and Commerce and the select investigative panel to continue to operate until the end of this Congress. This markup is a institutional responsibility. Actually, if we don't allocate these additional funds, the work of the entire Committee on Energy and Commerce, both for the majority staff and the minority staff, would be negatively impacted, that's for certain. The committee would be unable to complete its work. This work covers important areas such as electronic communications, environmental protection, and health care. We certainly had differences of opinion on the creation of the Select Investigative Panel. However, we're not here to relitigate a decision that the House has made more than a year ago, but we are here to fulfill our institutional responsibilities. So it's my hope that we send this resolution swiftly to the floor for a vote. And I'd now like to recognize my colleague and the committee's ranking member, Mr. Brady, for the purposes of an opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, I oppose the funding resolution before us today. I will have a longer statement for the record, but let me briefly say that 3 House committees, 12 states, and 1 grand jury have already investigated the matter this panel was created to examine. None found evidence of wrongdoing, and yet if we pass this measure, we will have wasted over $1.5 million in taxpayers' money on this redundant and unnecessary exercise. I am troubled by the treatment of the minority members of the committee. It is my understanding that the majority has misused unilateral subpoena authority, with the chair issuing 42 unilateral subpoenas without consulting with the Democrats. At best, this is a violation of a long-standing House rules and practice. At worst, it violates the bipartisan spirit of cooperation of the American people expect from their Congress. I understand the Democrats have been denied access to the panel records, including documents that have then later been used in hearings and depositions. It's time for the panel to end and conduct this unnecessary expensive work. Thank you again, Madam Chairman.
Thank the gentleman very much. Are there any other members of the committee that wish to be recognized for purpose of providing an opening statement? Chair lays before the committee at this time a resolution of original jurisdiction providing for the further expenses of the Committee on E&C in the amount of $800,000. And without objection, the resolution is considered read and open for amendment. Would any member like to offer an amendment?
Madam Chairman, I offer an amendment to the resolution.
The gentleman is recognized.
Madam Chairman, this amendment is about making sure the minority in the committee is treated fairly and that the select panel finishes its work. The amendment also requires the panel to provide House administration with weekly reports on its expenditures, as well as any activities of the subcommittee, including the issuance of subpoenas. Further, the amendment requires the majority to provide notice to and consult with the ranking member of the panel in advance of the issuing of any subpoenas if it is to use any of the supplementary funds for that purpose. It is unfortunate that we must force the majority to cooperate with the minority, but actions speak louder than words, and that's why I offer this amendment and urge its adoption. And thank you again, Madam Chair.
I thank the gentleman. Do any other members wish to be recognized to speak on this amendment? If there are no more comments, we will vote on the gentleman's amendment. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman, ranking member, to the resolution. Those in favor of the amendment would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed signify by saying nay. No. Nay. In the opinion of the chairs, the nays have it, and the amendment is not agreed to. Are there any other amendments? If not, then I move that the committee favorably report the resolution of original jurisdiction to the House, and all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Does any member wish to file supplemental, minority, or additional views for inclusion in the committee report to the House?
Madam Chair, I announced that the Democratic members were requested 2 additional calendar days provided by Clause 2L of Rule 2 of the Rules of the House in order to file views.
Pursuant to Clause 2 of Rule 11, the member is entitled to 2 additional calendar days to file such views in writing and signed by that member with the clerk of the committee. Any other business before the committee?
Madam Chair, before we adjourn, it is bittersweet that I will not be able to sit next to you again. Unless I take a visit.
Come to Michigan.
To Michigan, which I wouldn't mind doing, but it's an absolute pleasure to be working as your minority chair. You've been extremely gracious, respectful, and without question, one of the classiest ladies that I know in the House of Representatives, and you will be surely missed by this House and by me. And Madam Chair, whether I'm out of order or not, I'm giving you a kiss.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate those comments. I sincerely appreciate it. Sincerely appreciate it. And it's been my privilege and honor to be the chairperson of this committee during the last couple of Congresses, and working with a fantastic committee and a fantastic staff. And that is both on the majority and the minority side, and certainly being working alongside, shoulder to shoulder with you as my ranking member. We've done a lot of good work for this institution, and that's we've hardly had disagreement on very many issues. Actually, I think we've all just tried to work together and make sure that our committees are properly resourced, that this institution operates to the best of our ability, and it has been my pleasure to serve with you as well. So if you don't come to Michigan, I might look you up in Philly, right?
Come to Philadelphia,
I may do that. At any rate, I really have enjoyed this, being the chairman of this committee. It has just been fantastic. So I'll look forward to the next chairman doing some really fantastic work on this committee. We'll see what happens. But at any rate, I'm a Michigan girl. Time for me to go back home. So I certainly have enjoyed it. And without objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
I'll see you before you leave.
Yeah.
Seems great.